Well, hello there. This is John Byrne with Poets&Quants. We are here with Sandy Kreisberg for Fridays with Sandy. He is actually on a wonderful vacation in Maine. I'm very envious.
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Maine. There's a lobster claw up there I caught this morning, and we ate for breakfast. And
Nice. I had a lobster roll over the weekend, incidentally, out here in California, and it was fantastic.
That lobster had quite a swim. I bet it was tough. Okay.
Yeah, we have a good candidate today in Chicago, Aravind, who actually came to the United States, in 2016, to pursue a master's degree at the University of Illinois on the Chicago campus. He had graduated with a mechanical engineering degree from Anna University back in India. He is a project engineer working for a consulting company, kind of a boutique in the construction industry. Not many people have heard of it, and very few people have come from it into an MBA program.
Which means what, John? That people, including AdComs.
Generally, for full-time MBA programs, it means that you have a tougher time getting in.
Yeah, we're gonna handicap you for full-time and part-time just to make it valuable.
And here's the thing: while we typically do full-time, Aravind has the advantage of being in Chicago, because Chicago avails itself of two of the best part-time MBA programs in the world at Chicago Booth and Kellogg. In fact, Chicago Booth's part-time program is rated #1 by U.S. News. So there you have it.
Good. What could you tell us, because the company you work at is not known to the admissions committee, it is both very important in your resume, in your essay, and in the objective parts of the application that you describe it very well. So some of the things you should include are, is it a public or a privately owned company? Just to the extent, you can, this is not confidential information. Is it a public or a private company? What's the ownership thing? What are some metrics to describe the size, either by sales per year or number of employees, and a very good description of what the company does and what you do. Okay, so with that in mind, Aravind, why don't you tell us about the company?
So RTM Engineering Consultants, as it's called, was started in Schaumburg, based out in Illinois, and eventually they have now spread across like 13 different cities in the US. So it's actually 200 engineers in that firm, and they make an annual turnover of around like $30 million. And they've acquired like a lot of offices, a lot of companies, small scale companies in the last 5 to 6 years. And they've grown from like 2 offices when I joined to now like 13 offices.
Okay, so you're working for, that's called a rapidly growing small to medium sized business.
Yes.
But this is also important. Your role is totally engineering, right?
Yeah.
And we've already, we'll say it again. Do people from your role, has anyone from your role, to your knowledge, applied to business school in the last 2, 3, 4 years?
No, actually.
Yeah. So this 2 questions: how come, or why? Why you? This is real important.
So I'm actually looking for a career change, as well as I want to launch my startup in a safe place where I could eventually get onto it full time.
Okay, this is important. So your next career move is to do what for the next 3 years while you're running your part-time MBA? Stay with the company?
I want to stay with my company while I finish my MBA, and after I finish it, I want to launch my startup. I want to do the groundwork while I pursue my MBA degree, and I want to launch it after I finish my MBA.
All right, John, we save the tough questions for Senor Byrne here. Is that a good thing? Is that a good plan to tell the AdCom? This is not a rhetorical question. I'm not sure the answer.
Well, now there's no history here of your being interested or pursuing startup activity in the past. So now, do you have an idea that's linked to what you've done in your experience?
Yeah, if it's not a secret, starting a company is, what do they say? It's either easy or impossible. So what's your background?
So I actually have a startup idea that I want to work on, get reviewed by professors and my fellow teammates and fellow students at the university, and eventually have secure funding by inviting angel investors during the venture pitch, develop my pitch. And
yeah, sure, of course. If to the extent you can, what's your startup idea?
It's actually on the food sector industry, where it's almost like kind of like I would say like an Uber, where like people who knows to cook can go and cook into someone else's places.
Uber for cooks. This belongs to the great cohort of companies called Uber 4.
Right.
You know that model, right?
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, good.
Okay, John, tell them what you think of that idea, both as an idea and as something to present to a
concern about the
business school.
idea is that it's not directly connected with the work that you currently do.
Yeah, business schools, yeah. That's an idea if you had, I'm not going to say the word, but if you had some other element you could do right now. You don't need no stinking MBA.
Now,
although, so with that in mind, with that pro forma skepticism in mind, why do you need an MBA?
The primary thing was to make a career switch. So in order to make a career switch and in order to stay in status in the US.
Oh, so it's a visa issue.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Yeah. That gets a little dicey in how you present. Just saying. Okay, I don't have it's not my area of expertise, but I would carefully research that. I think what we got here is strong undergraduate stats, and then
8.1 out of 10.
Yeah, is that what do you know what your class rank was?
I was in the top 3 in the class.
People?
They were like around 65 in the class.
Yeah, I get it. Top 3, class of 65. I'll let Mr. Byrne do the translation of that into percents. I'm the poet. John is the quant, but that strikes me as
the class. So top 5% of the class. I mean, it's a difficult subject, mechanical engineering. I took a practice GMAT, you got a 680.
Yeah.
Now you're wisely focused on part-time because the average GMAT score at Kellogg and Booth are 730 and 731. So, and you would probably need above that as a male engineer.
Yeah, our advice if you were flying to the full-time program, would be take that test and keep taking it till you get a 730. That's
for full-time.
The first commandment of the Sandy Kreisberg Book of Tough Love. That's the first commandment, yeah.
Sandy, the secret about part-time programs is not nearly as selective. So, for example, at Kellogg, instead of the 730 average GMAT, the part-time student has an average of 672.
Good. Yeah,
okay.
I get the diff. Right.
At Chicago Booth, instead of 731, it's 685.
Yeah, so you're in the money for you're in good shape for those schools. I think you'll get it. At part-time schools, you have to explain the company you're working for. You've got the right motive. Here, what's the bad news about part-time schools, John? I don't know. They don't give out much money.
You got a hard day at work, and then you got to go over to school at night.
and pay for it.
Twice a week for how many years? 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
Plus, you're not in a cohort of people that you get to know really closely. You know, every class you probably have different people.
Well, so he says part of his reason for going there is he wants a network. You want to give him some tough love on that, or is it possible?
Well, networking is going to be a lot more difficult in a part-time program than it is in a full-time program. But basically, if you want to go full-time, you're going to have to get a 750 on the GMAT and talk your way in, because you're a male Indian engineer, and
just so we can, for male Indians watching this video who are interested in going to programs full-time, it's an unbelievably competitive cohort, and there are a lot of people in that cohort who have IIT backgrounds or went to school abroad, went to American Ivy schools, and they've got very high stats and very high GMAT. So, you know, like the male Indian cohort at Harvard, Stanford, and Wharton is one collection of very highly accomplished young men, just for the record. Okay, not that you're not.
And the overall acceptance rate for the full-time program at Kellogg is 24%. At Chicago, it's 27%. I'm going to tell you that for Indian engineer males, instead of 27% at Chicago, I bet you it's 1/3 of that, the acceptance rate.
Wow.
Okay, based on data that was once revealed a few years ago to Business Week.
That's really powerful information.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as you're concerned, boy, I think your chances are good. You just have to explain your company. Who are you getting recs from? This is another important issue.
Okay.
Recommenders from no-name companies. What do we need to know about that?
I was trying to get it from one of my supervisor and from my colleague who works with me.
Yeah, okay, let's do with the colleague first, John. Throw him another wet towel.
Well, a colleague, might be interpreted as a friend, and therefore the recommendation may not, carry as much weight as.
Yeah, it's suspicious because they go, what's the matter? Doesn't this guy have 2 senior people to recommend him? And they think it could be a friend, and they also say, I don't care if he's not a friend. How does this guy? What's the value of his recommendation? He's never recommended anybody before. He's a kid the other kid's age, and he doesn't know a whole lot. That's what goes through their mind. All of that goes through their mind, not with equal weighting.
What about a professor from the master's program in addition to his supervisor at work?
Yeah. That the professors, these people respect admissions committees. They're the last people in the world to respect professors. It's true.
The other thing you could do is if you were involved in an extracurricular activity where you were sort of managed, or in some sort of leadership position, that person could be helpful too, right? Yeah,
less so. What they're looking for a recommender is ideally a supervisor who can compare you. The great rec is I've been doing this gig for 15 years. During that time, I've worked with 46 people like this guy, and I would rank this guy, in the top 5 of those 46 people for the following reasons. That's the way a powerful recommendation starts, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying it's got to be that, and this is not so much advice to you; it's advice to the general public. I think you're in a solid shape, but even so, you got to prep your recommenders, and you really have to describe your company in the resume and the school. As I pointed out, the public and private annual sales, what they're doing, etc.
And you make sure you write a little memo for him before he writes it, telling him, okay, these are important. Maybe just to help you make it easier for yourself. Here are some things that you might want to focus on.
Good point.
One other route that you can take okay, is if in fact you can get a student visa, you could go to another school full time. And given your background numbers, I mean, you could go to Ohio State, you can go to Michigan State. Those are very good programs. Of course, they're not Kellogg and Booth. But you wouldn't have to have a 750 GMAT to get into them, okay? That's another alternative for you if you can get a student visa.
The thing with getting a student visa is I can get one, but I don't get its benefits, like the work period that comes with the student visa, since I've already used it for my master's. So that's what is stopping me to do a full-time in the US.
Yeah. Well, then, you know, look, Kellogg and Booth part-time programs are among the best you can do, right? Booth is #1 by US News. Kellogg is #3. When you get your degree, it doesn't say it was earned part-time. You're still part of the MBA alumni network. You can still have access to all the professors.
Okay, but let me point this, John. One of the questions you've got to address in this guy's situation is most people in part-time programs are continuing to keep their same job and plan to go back to that company or that job at a higher level.
Yes.
So you're not that guy. So you're a little unusual. So you've got to make your case and your thinking much more clear, because, you know, you're making the AdCom do two things they don't like to do: stop and think. Easy AdCom jokes, yes. Part of our running commentary here. But I'm serious.
Okay, I'll take it.
And go to the schools, go to their info sessions, get to know the
and schmooze.
Schmooze, okay? You know, so Sandy, when he does the schmoozing, should he in fact say he wants to do the startup with the startup idea that he has? Or should he keep that in the pocket?
Keep it in the pocket, present yourself as, I'm very interested in this and this. Right now my plan is to stay with my company while I get the degree. So we haven't lied overtly yet, have we?
No.
Yeah.
Good. All right. You apply Kellogg and Booth. Try to get us, 700 just to make sure. Go and schmooze. Get the recommendation letter from a professor and your supervisor.
Yeah, prepare the recommendation.
Coach the supervisor. He probably has never done a recommendation for an MBA program. He needs some coaching, right, Sandy?
Yeah, no, that's why it would be really helpful to just get a standard recommendation off the internet. Easy.
To show him, so he knows as an idea,
Okay. Sure.
And then you're golden. You're going to be going to school for 3 years at night. My God. That's
something. You're in Chicago?
All right, Sandy, thank you. Aravind, good luck to you. Let us know how you do and what you decide to do. Okay, and for all of you out there, good luck on your MBA journey. This is John Byrne with Fridays with Sandy. Thanks for watching.